All right, so let's talk about the future of JavaScript. So first things first, ECMAScript 2020. We are lucky because the ECMAScript committee, the TC39 group, approved the new version of the standard on the 16th of June. So that's actually last week, I believe, right? 9 days ago. And that's fantastic. That's fantastic because that means that now this huge document, don't print it, is a standard. It's not a draft anymore. And that means that the browser can officially implement all these things, even though, to be completely precise, most of the browsers already supported most of these things. Yeah, but now it's official. These things are not going to change. So now, hopefully, browsers will adopt them quickly. In the past, for instance, in 2011, once the ECMAScript 5 version was released, it took months or even years to some browsers to fully adapt it. Yeah? Well, now, obviously, things are moving quicker, which is a good thing, right? It was so painful to see. Oh, now we can use Mappam for each. That wasn't supported before 2011, but in reality, we couldn't because Microsoft Explorer was not supporting it. Yeah? Anyway, so now ECMAScript 2020. I think that was formerly called ECMAScript 11. I think I forgot what the current number was, but they renamed it, and they renamed it for a good reason, right? Because it's much easier to remember ECMAScript 2020 than ECMAScript 11. Yeah. So what do we have new in the JavaScript world? Well, let me show you something that is not new actually, something that was introduced I think last year on ECMAScript 2019. We haven't talked about that at all during the bootcamp. You can see I'm not playing now with my VS Code. Can anyone tell me why I'm going to play with a couple of snippets on my DevTools rather than my VS Code? So the thing is, which environment are we running VS Code, guys? You remember when you set up your VS Code? Of course it's JavaScript, but is it, are we running it? Do you remember, guys, when you set up your launch.json, you had to set up some parameters. One of them was, do you want to run commands using the browser or do you want to run commands using Node? Do you remember that? It was Node, correct, it was Node. And you know what happened with Node? Node is always a bit behind. Yeah, Node takes a bit longer to introduce changes of the ECMAScript. Yeah, Node is not a multi-billion company like Google is that they can afford, hiring 500 developers just to bring these things to reality, right? So things in Node will work a bit slower, in some cases much slower, but because of that, I would like us to play a couple of examples using my DevTools. It's going to be quick. So one of the new methods that we supported, again, this is 1 year old, but I think we haven't talked about that, is a method to flat arrays. So imagine that I got something like that. You see, guys? I got an array of 2 elements. The first element is an array, the second element is an array too. So what happens if I want to flat that into 5, 7, 5, 7, 3, and 2? Can you tell me, guys, any way to solve the problem? Yeah. Using the rest. That's correct. Using the rest. So we create an array, and then we can spread the first element of the array, and then we can spread the second element of the array, and hopefully you can see that will effectively flat the array. Yeah, and that's fine if we really know the structure of the array. But what happened, guys, if now I got another sub-array? You see, the main array has 2 elements. That's the first one, that's the second one. but the second array has another array in one of the elements. So if we run that piece of code, it's not gonna work because it's not spreading. You see, we still got an array here. So of course we could solve the problem. We could use recursion. Probably actually recursion may be a really good technique towards solving the problem. No problem at all. However, thankfully now there is an even easier way to solve the problem, which is by foo.flat. Let me go back to the previous example. We have just one level. Yeah, so you see we got an array instead of another array. So using .flat, that's gonna work, you see. Not much advantage compared to the REST operator. However, things start getting interesting when we got a nested structure. By default, I don't think that's gonna work neither. You see, that's the same problem we got before. However, interestingly enough, flat accepts an argument, which is a number, and that number represents how many levels we're gonna go deep, right? So in this particular case, we got 2 levels. That's the first level, and that's the second level. So if I pass number 2, you see, boom, it flats the array completely. I think so, Vicky, that's right. I think by default it takes 1. Yeah, that looks correct. I think the default is 1. Actually, if you put 0, it does nothing. What happens if you pass, can I pass a negative number? I have no idea. No, I can't, right? So yeah, 1 is the default. 2 is, it goes 2 levels deep. What happens if I pass 200? Nothing wrong, actually. I mean, yeah, probably that has some Say it again? Well, it depends on your structure. If you know that you have only one level of, one level, then you put 1, right? That wouldn't make much more sense, right? Of course, I'm sure there are some performance bits here. That's something that we can investigate later on, right? But FYI, flat, this is one of the new methods of JavaScript, right? An employer may ask you in the interview, tell me about your favorite features about JavaScript, right? Of course, you can use map for each, reduce, but the employer is giving you the chance to prove that you really know what's trendy now in JavaScript, and flat is one of these things. Yeah? Any questions, guys? Cool. Let me show you guys now one of my favorite features, and that's actually new. So that's officially released 9 days ago, and I love it. This is one of the things that I've been wondering why this is not part of JavaScript. So let me present you a problem. Imagine that I got a user. So for instance, age 23. Yeah. What happens, guys, if I do console.log user.age? It returns 23, right? That's correct. You see, 23, easy peasy. What happens if I check user.name? Undefined, correct. You remember, guys, prototypal inheritance, the object prototype, all these things, right? Undefined, that's correct. And what happens if I do user.name.first? I don't know. I never say that, guys. What's that gonna return, guys? You should know that. Elena got the job, right? Elena got the job, and the reason is, what's user.name? Undefined, right? You've seen that. What happened when you try to do undefined something? Wrong, Vicky. I will say like I've never heard what you just said, right? Because that's unacceptable on the last day of the bootcamp, right? You see, cannot read property first of undefined. So historically speaking, imagine that you want to present the first name of the user. What we've been doing is if user.name and user.name.first, then I don't know, console.log hello, and then the name of the user, right? And things can get even worse because what happens if user is undefined? We may have to control the case in which scenario we can do something like that. If I got the user and I got the name of the user and I got the property called first, display hello, blah, blah, blah. So if we run that code, obviously line number 4 is not going to run because, I don't have any user. If I got just an empty object, that's not going to run because even though user is truthy, the next condition is falsy. If I pass a name, what do you think, guys? Is that going to display the hello message? Empty array. Where do you see an empty array? Is user truthy, guys? Yes. Is user.name truthy? Are you sure? What's the value, Max? What's the value of user.name? Is an empty string truthy or falsy? Wrong. Wrong. Empty strings are falsy. Hello, guys. All right. Empty strings are falsy, right? And what happens if I put something like that? Name hello or name Peter if you want. Is that message gonna be displayed or not? That's correct. Lauren is right. Is user truthy? Yes. Is user.name truthy? Yeah. Is user.name.first truthy? No. It's falsy, right? So, that's not going to display anything. And that's okay. Guys, that's the way we've been working until the last week, right? But now there is something really cool in JavaScript called let me remember that, the conditional operator, I think it's called. I'll check the docs in a minute because I may a conditional operator, I think it's called. So the conditional operator means I can do something like that. Look. Then the code is not gonna blow up at all. Yeah. So if I got the user, then check the name. If I got user.name, then check first, right? So in reality, I mean, if there is nothing here, that's gonna display hello undefined. Wait a minute. Oh, I need to initialize that, of course, right? Undefined. So if I run this, you see, but it's not blowing up. You see, we are avoiding the scenario where we do undefined something, because when you do undefined something, your entire application may blow up. Now, okay, of course, if I don't have the first name, I don't have the first name, but at least my code is not blowing up. Yeah. So that's what we call optional operator. Optional. I'll check, guys. I don't remember right now, to be honest with you, but I'll find out in a second. Optional chaining. Sorry, not optional operator. Optional chaining. Yeah. And here you got some examples. You see, that simplifies the code a lot. I'm gonna share that link with you on the Slack right away. And by the way, the optional chaining works with objects and arrays. I agree on that. Super convenient. Yeah? So optional changes. That's one of these things, guys, that you should prove in a job interview, because that's you are setting some distance with the other candidates for the position. No one will know that, guys. No one is gonna know that, right? So you get a fantastic opportunity to outstand and to seriously impress the employer. So the optional chaining operator. And then one more thing. So all these things are fantastic. However, this is a game changer thing, guys. Dynamic imports. This is gonna change everything. So at the moment when you have an app in React or in Vue or yes, in JavaScript, so what you do is, first of all, you do the import thingy, right? So import React from React, and then you do whatever, right? Imagine that you create a component function, my foot. That's a bit stupid, right? And then you return whatever, right? That's what you've been doing. And then, of course, you can import other stuff. Import get name from get foot name, whatever. And then I can here display a message in React, right? So I can use a div. and then my name is, ignore the semantics, guys. I had enough problems today with the button. Right, but I hope you get the point, right? You import things and then you do things at the bottom. So let me show you what the problem is. When you refresh the page, everything is bundled. In other words, imagine that file, get name, is a large one. You got 2,000 lines of code here. So that file weighs 1 megabyte. And imagine that feature is only for admin purposes. Only administrators on the platform, which is 1 or 2 people, are gonna be able to reach that view. The historical problem with module importing in JavaScript is, it doesn't matter if the user goes to /home/projects or /contact. It doesn't matter. Every single line of code you have imported somewhere is always going to be bundled. That's an extreme case. You are not going to have a file with 1 meg. But I hope you get the point that in reality, when a user refreshes the page, and I can show you the problem with Codery, at Codery, there are lots of admin tools about charts, about, many different things that you don't care about. However, every time you refresh the page, you are loading all the things that you don't even have access, even if you wanted to play with that, right? You get with me, guys, that's inefficient. That's inefficient because the page takes longer to load, just because you need to deal with lots of things that you don't care. Also, mind that you are playing with Codery. I mean, there's nothing particularly wrong with Codery. That happens with any website, right? You want to access a web app using your smartphone. It may ruin your data plan because you are downloading more resources than necessary. That's the way JavaScript works so far. It is true that using Webpack, there are some ways to change that, but all these techniques have been some sort of manually thought by someone. Now, by the first time ever in history, we can implement that sort of lazy loading mechanism dynamically out of the box with JavaScript. Once again, this is just something that is being released these days, but keep an eye, because that's going to change everything. That's going to enable super performant web application. That's going to enable that, for instance, if you go to video tutorials, then in real time, you are going to get all the images and everything, just if you go to video tutorials. What's the point of getting the Conflicts logo if you never reach that view, right? So that's what dynamic imports are going to be about. I think that example is really good, right? If a condition is truthy, whatever the condition is, then boom, then render that module. If not, then don't load it, don't bundle it, don't render it. Yeah. Any questions, guys? No? So again, that's the optional chaining. That's the simplest thing to learn about the future of JavaScript. There are many others I'm not even talking about, but the most important one, thinking ahead, thinking about the future, maybe in a couple of years' time, is going to be dynamic import. Yeah? That's going to change everything. All right, so this is about JavaScript. So I will strongly recommend you to create a new project, search some documentation about dynamic imports, and feel comfortable playing with it. And now, I'm going to tell you what I will do if I were you starting on Monday. So over the last couple of months, you've been working with Conflicts, right? And as part of Conflicts, you had a library in the front end. So what library, guys? What's the main library you've been using in the front end side of Conflicts? It's React, that's correct. Do you know, guys, which is the main rival of React today? It's Vue, that's correct. And you know what? Let me tell you something. Vue is at the moment on version 2. However, look at that. Vue next. There is a new version of Vue completely rewritten from scratch. Yeah, Vue version 3. And that may change everything. I'm not going to tell you this is going to replace React, not at all. But if you want to learn something new in the front end, Vue next is definitely the right thing to learn, because more and more companies are gonna demand skills on Vue.js. Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you how to work with Vue right now. The only thing I can tell you is Vue originally was much more similar to Angular. However, over time, because React is winning the battle about the JavaScript kingdom, so Vue has been adopting many of the, programming strategies of React. One of the most important ones is on Vue version 3. There is something interesting, guys. Look at that. JSX. You can use JSX that was created by Facebook in Vue. Yeah, so I think Vue has been really, really smart by, I don't want to use the word copy, by adopting the good things of other frameworks and libraries, and definitely JSX is one of these. So if I were you, starting on Monday, I will start building conflicts again using Vue Next, and you're gonna see that it's gonna be super easy because it's so similar. It is so similar. I mean, you know, guys, that on the platform you can do training on Vue, right? All right, so Vue, guys, look, Vue and React. You see, the questions are the same. We've done the same questions to simplify the process. So once you know how to render hello world in React, then you can go to Vue, and then we can see how to render it. So how do you render stuff in Vue? Look, it's just a slightly similar, different syntax, but in reality, no, you need to get used to a couple of conventions, but it's pretty much about the same. What if we, let me zoom the screen a bit. So Vue. So for instance, state. What is a state? Or maybe props, yeah? In React, you can pass props. In Vue, you can pass props as well. So the way it works is you define props like that. So where are the props here? So that component, welcome, receives some props called user. So we can pass a comma separated list of props in the array. And then we can simply display them. What's the message? Welcome to Vue, comma, and then look, it's double curly braces instead of single curly braces. That's inherited from Angular, yeah. But apart from that, that's pretty much the same thing. You see, it's, you know, that the markup, it looks pretty much the same. Double curly braces instead of single one. You know, obviously there are some differences. Yeah, mastering Vue will take you a while. However, learning the fundamentals of Vue, rebuilding conflicts using Vue is going to be really, really simple. So that's something I will strongly recommend you to play with. The sooner the better, right? That's Vue in the front end. Yeah, and now let's talk about probably the most important part in this journey, the backend. Yeah, so the backend, you know, you've been playing with the backend in Node.js. But do you know, guys, that there is a new version, a new framework replacing Node.js? Have you heard about Deno? So Deno is the new Node.js, officially speaking, because it was created by the creator of Node. So he's the same guy. So this guy, who is very popular, he created, I think a couple of years ago, a very popular blog post saying something like 10 mistakes I did when I created Node, or 10 things I regret about Node, something like that. So what this guy has done is he has created a new backend language in JavaScript and TypeScript, yeah, from scratch. Actually, it's using Rust, which is a very performant programming language. That replaced C++, which is the language that runs Node.js. And that's going to change everything as well, because that's going to replace Node for sure, 100%. I'm not going to tell you Vue is going to replace React. Who knows? I don't think that's going to happen, but who knows? Yeah, probably they will live together. Yeah, at some point you'll get 8 out of 10 job offers will be about React, and 2 or 3 out of 10 will be about Vue. You know, they will live together. However, Deno, not Dino, Deno is definitely gonna replace Node. And that's not happening tomorrow. But guys, coding is about having the right skills at the right time. So if you learn Deno right now, and what I mean right now is right now, on Monday, don't wait 2 months, you have a fantastic opportunity to progress faster in your career, because it's just a matter of time that companies will be desperate on hiring Deno developers. Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna change everything. Deno is very new, very new. Look, guys, version 1 was released last month, 30th of May. And again, it will slowly but surely replace Node. So again, what I'm not gonna explain how Deno works, because it has many differences with Node, even in the way there were some examples here. Even the way you deal with packages. You see, we can use import. That's the first advantage, right? We cannot use import unless you got the latest version of Node. And then it's definitely a different syntax. We will have to get used to it, but that's gonna change everything, guys. So if I were you on Monday, I will create Codeflix again. I mean, when I say Codeflix, feel free to create a different application, right? If you like football, create an app about football teams. I don't care. Build something you feel confident with, right? Just create an app and write the front end using Vue next, which is Vue 3, and write the backend using Deno. And that's gonna open a new wall of possibilities. Because a company is gonna ask you, all right, what you've been doing over the last month? And then if you said, I've been playing with the newest version of Vue, I've been playing with Deno, which is gonna replace Node, that proves so much motivation, so much interest, guys. So, yeah, that is my advice. And now questions. Right, so if you don't want to talk about anything, I'm sharing these resources. So you got the link to Vue. You see, guys, it's not even stable yet, and it got 13,000 stars in GitHub. It's gonna be insane, right? So I just send you the link to Vue, and now I'm sending you the link to them. Assuming you don't have any questions, let's do something else. Let's have a 5 minutes break. I need to get some water, otherwise I'm gonna die in this room. And then we can jump to the board challenge review, if that works with you. Cool, perfect. Thank you, guys. See you in 5 minutes.